Hello and a very warm welcome on this special. India completing a dominating win this week over South Africa, 3-0 in the series. They've extended their lead on that World Test Championship table. I've got Anil Kumble, former India coach and captain, to talk to me about that and a lot more that's going on in Indian cricket over these next 20 minutes. Thank you so much, Anil, for your time.
Pleasure, Gaurav.
Let me begin by asking you, actually, that 3-0 scoreline almost seems to do injustice to the level of dominance that India showed against South Africa in this series. 2 wins by an innings, it was quite incredible.
Yeah, it was. India thoroughly deserved the 3-0 lead. The victory that they had, a margin of victory was certainly dominating. Disappointing if you were a South African fan. But India just humiliated South Africa. I mean, 3 test matches. In the last test match, South Africa almost got bowled out twice in a day. So, that's the kind of performance that the Indian team put up. So, wonderful effort by all the players. The bowling was absolutely brilliant. Of course, the batting led by Rohit Sharma was fantastic.
Anil, you touched on the bowling and I wanted you to just put on your coach and captain hat and just reflect on that a little bit. I know over the years, great bowlers such as yourself, Harbhajan Singh, and subsequently we've had Ashwin, Jadeja, a whole lot of spin bowlers have won India Test victories. What is, in India, what's your view on this fast bowling crop that seems to come in and in these conditions which were not very spin friendly, be as menacing as they were against South Africa? This definitely is a new wave.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's not something new. Both Shami, then you have Umesh Yadav. Of course, Bumrah was missing in this test series. Ishant Sharma, Bhuvneshwar Kumar. I think these 5 have been consistently performing over the last 3 to 4 years. And in all conditions, even in India, we saw how dominating Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Shami have been over the years. And we saw that again in this series. So it's the attitude of these bowlers, it's the fitness levels of these bowlers, and also, please don't forget that the batsmen put up the runs on the board, and that certainly helps the bowlers. And the intent that these bowlers have showed, irrespective of what the pitch is, I don't think you need to look at the pitch and then start preparing for a game. I think that's exactly what this team has done over the years. They've changed their attitude and not really bothered about what kind of surface you're bowling on or what kind of opposition that you're bowling against. It's just the attitude that these fast bowlers have brought in to the team. I mean, we saw that in evidence when Shami just ran in really hard in that second innings, and even on a tough pitch where you knew that the bounce was not going to be that much. The pace of the surface wasn't great in Ranchi, but yet the kind of performance that these fast bowlers put up on show was fantastic.
I wanted to get one thought out of you on Rohit Sharma, the test opener. I know we touched upon this after the first test match, but he's gone on and got a double 100, man of the series. You see, you think he's now locked down this spot for the foreseeable future, or do you still buy into some of those critics who say, okay, let's wait and watch him in overseas conditions?
No, I did mention, last time around when I spoke on Rohit Sharma that it's his attitude, it's his dominating presence out there. Technique, yes, you need technique to survive as an opening batsman, but that's only a very small portion.
Yeah.
What you require is an ability to go out there and then perform the attitude that you want to show. Like we spoke about the fast bowlers. I mean, irrespective of the conditions, the fast bowlers' attitude was to pick wickets. And that's what you saw in Rohit Sharma, irrespective of the pitch, irrespective of his position, irrespective of the pressure that he was in, his attitude to perform, his attitude to score runs, his positive frame of mind. I think all of that came together, and we saw that in the first test, and then, of course, in this last one where he scored a double 100. Once he gets 100, we know what kind of destructive batsman that he is. We have seen that in the shorter format day in, day out, and that's exactly what he did. The amount of time that was lost due to bad light and rain was insignificant because Rohit Sharma got his run so quickly, and that puts additional pressure on the opposition. It's not just about the quality of runs that you score, but the time that you take as well. I mean, Rohit Sharma, we all know, gets those runs really quickly, and that's exactly what he did. He put the team ahead in these kind of conditions where you needed more time, but once you have that, the opposition just sunk in, and you saw that. You saw that by the time they got to the third test match. South Africa, we all thought, we have seen that in the past. They are really a strong unit where they like to fight back, but they just capitulated because I think they had just given up, having gone through the rigors of the first two test matches. They didn't have enough strength to bounce back. And that's what Rohit Sharma can do. He can really destroy the opposition.
Anil, just looking at this Indian team, the players who are currently playing in the 11 and even those who are sitting out, looking at various departments, batting, top order batting, middle order, wicket-keeping options, spinners, fast bowlers. Do you sense, also looking at other teams around the world, that we are on the cusp now of watching an Indian team which can dominate over a period of time, home and away?
Yeah, I believe so. Even 3 years ago when I was the coach, I did mention that this team certainly has everything in them to dominate world cricket, and that's exactly what they have done. I mean, it's not just about the playing 11, it's also the bench strength, it's also the quality of bench strength that we are discussing here. You have fantastic quality. Whoever comes in certainly performs. I mean, we saw Nadeem, on his debut test match, he's had a long first-class career. He's played India A on many occasions. He was given the opportunity right at the last minute, and he came in and performed for the team. And that's exactly what you want from your bench strength. And when you have the kind of quality players in the squad, plus people really sitting out and then wanting to make an impact, it really augurs well. And that's why I believe that Indian team is not just good enough to win matches at home, but also abroad, dominate every series outside of India too. So that's something that I would like to see this Indian team do in the future.
Yet again, Anil, just as one of the greats of the game, having played so much yourself, now observing it from a distance, just watching this Indian team do what it did in this series, but overall, looking at how South Africa seemed to capitulate, some of their players not able to take the heat, are you sensing that around the world Test cricket is in as healthy a space as it should be? Just the Test teams, are enough Test teams competitive enough?
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing when you look around world cricket, South Africa, especially in this recent series, and also in the previous series. Of course, the pitches were different. But if you look at the South African team of the past, and when you compare those names to these cricketers, it certainly is disappointing at the quality that you saw. Faf du Plessis was the only seasoned performer for South Africa, and he was batting at number 5. By which time most of the damage was done. So yes, it was disappointing, other than Rabada and Faf du Plessis, and in the first test Dean Elgar and Quinton de Kock. Other than these four, the rest of the team just looked pretty ordinary. You don't expect that coming from a South African team. So yes, when you look at South Africa, West Indies, Australia, when India toured Australia, of course they missed David Warner and Steve Smith. But when you look at that, of the past era, you tend to think that yes, in terms of Test cricket, you would want to see more teams really doing really well consistently. It's not easy winning away from home. We have seen that even for the current Indian team, other than the Australian series, they couldn't win in England and in South Africa. So teams, find it difficult when they tour. But having said that, they at least put up a fight. South Africa, we have seen of the past, they have won the series in India in 98, 99, 99, 2000. And then rest of the time that South Africa toured India, they've certainly fought hard. You didn't see that fight anywhere close to that fight in the South African team. So that way, yes, it is certainly disappointing to see a South African team having capitulated the way they did against India.
Now, Anil, I know we've spoken about the series. I wanted to talk to you about some of the talking points that have emerged subsequently. In his press conference, Virat Kohli, right after the series, made the point about restricting Test cricket to just 5 centres. Obviously, crowds have been disappointing, etc. You've been an administrator as well at the KSCA president. What's your view? Do you think it's a good idea to spread Test cricket as the attempt has been to smaller centres, or would you like to go with what Virat is suggesting and stay with the 5 centres?
No, I think that's certainly one of the ways of promoting Test cricket. You need, by restricting it to a few centres, and not just that. I think it's also important to choose the time of the Test match. We all remember, the festival time, festival of Pongal. The Test match used to be at Chennai. Then the start of the season would be, I think, in Delhi. Bangalore would have a Test match. Mumbai would have a Test match. So you would have Kolkata, of course. So you would have, Test matches in these big centres. I think it's important for Test cricket to promote these centres where people know that this is the place that you're going to play Test cricket in much prior to the start of the season, because you can then market Test cricket. You can make sure that the crowd come in. Not just that, I think it's also important in these smaller centres. When I was the coach, we played, I think, in 6 different centres, new centres for Test cricket. The one centre where it was packed was Indore. The atmosphere was brilliant. It's in the heart of the city. Maybe that was one of the reasons where the crowd could come in, irrespective of the time of day. You could come in and spend some time and watch some good cricket. When India played New Zealand at Indore, the stadium was packed. So other than that, I didn't see the kind of packed stadiums that we have seen in the past. So yes, Test cricket, for it to survive, I think it's important that you choose centres which obviously can bring in crowds, and also make sure that you have enough time to market Test cricket to ensure that people can come. And having said all of this, I think what we need to also do is to create better facilities for the spectators to come and view the game. They need to have a comfortable seat, the access to the stadium, ticketing. I think use of technology is something that I think we need to start looking at when it comes to issuing tickets. And then, of course, the basic comfort of food, water, and then toilet facilities. I think if we can provide all of that, make the spectator feel really comfortable, then I think you'll see a lot of people coming into watching Test match cricket.
The one experiment that India hasn't taken part in so far and has been taking place around the world is the day-night Test match. Where do you stand on that? Given that again this has been a home season in which there have been 3 Test matches,
I think
where the crowds have been disappointing.
Yeah, I think certainly day-night Test match cricket will certainly bring in crowd towards the second half, towards the later half of the game. You also need to choose the right time of the year, because we have seen in day-night cricket, in one-day internationals, the ball gets really wet because of dew. So you may have to choose the venue and the time of the year. And like I said, irrespective of what you do with Test match cricket, I think the general expectations of the spectator to enhance the facilities and make him comfortable, I think is important as well. So if you can create all of that, and like I said, you need to market, you need to make sure that you bring in all these measures, ticketing, access, comfort, and then yes, of course, if you can come in at 6 in the evening after you have finished your job, your routine during the day, and come and watch a couple of hours of cricket. I think that's where we are headed.